Yeah, my videos keep cutting because I don't have enough data. I don't, my cell phone hard drive doesn't have enough gigabytes, so it keeps cutting. Anyways, so there's something, and this is a teaching channel on my YouTube channel is about teaching future engineers because we're all about teaching the future. I don't believe in gatekeeping. GATEKEEPING. It's a lot of gatekeeping in engineering. It's like, oh, I made it, so fuck everybody else. We're here to help the community. We're here to help out the future engineers. Um, so, anyways, there's something called the Bill of Materials. It's called the BOM. This is very, 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 very important. So the Bill of Materials, it has the amount of parts that are going to be included in your project, your assembly. Like a bicycle has two wheels, chains, etc., etc. So you have item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5, item 6, item 7, item 8, and repeating materials. For example, if you need two washers that are exactly identical, those are one part, quantity 2, right? Because it's exactly the same part, but the amount of quantity changes. So then that's called a part, and then your bill of materials is gonna have a description of what the part is. So today, when I was, because I work in the quality department, today when I was looking at the bill of materials for, it's called this loose installation kit for a lift system that lifts like 5,000 pounds cartridge, heavy piece of metal. So I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute, that has a 2 and a 3 inch hex bolt. Why is it labeled the same part? Those are two different parts. Obviously, 2 and 3 inches are not the same thing. So then I took the measurements and I was like, yeah, that's not the right part. So mind you, this drawing was barely revised like in February, right? Second month, February, by three engineers, and it's like a joke. Like, how many engineers does it take to literally figure this out? No, I'm not blaming the engineers, but then I kind of am because they're so busy, and this is like an easy mistake. They're so busy doing way more complicated things that obviously who cares, right? It's just a number. It's just a number. But I like to give myself a lot of credit. So I was like, damn, Pablo, you caught that mistake. So, that is a good ego booster. When you can spot a mistake that nobody has spotted, that is why as engineers we have to believe in ourselves. What if you're like the first engineer in history to spot a mistake, right? You'll be like, no, there's no way. There is. People are retarded. Believe it or not, people are retarded. Sometimes you might be the first engineer to discover something. Yes, as hard as that might be hard to believe. So in your companies that you end up working at, some companies will shut you up. Some companies will tell you like, look, kid, just shut it up. But then you're just here to collect the paycheck. Who cares? Other companies, they want to better their process ease, and they want to, because we have a ethics. We have ethics. It's like if you're working at Boeing Aerospace, and in Boeing Aerospace, if you see a plane part that's like, wait a minute, why is this washer not the correct size? Isn't this wing going to collapse? Because there's not enough torque on the screw. causing the panels to stay in place. So after certain vibrations of the plane, it's gonna get loose and that shit's gonna fall. I'm just making shit up. But basically, in that hypothetical scenario, you might be the first engineer to spot these things. So don't be afraid to speak up. If you're a Boeing Aerospace or NASA or any of these companies, if you spot a mistake, don't be afraid to speak up. So that's the takeaway. Be a brave engineer. Don't be a pussy. Be a brave engineer and speak up. If you see a mistake in the drawings, in the machine, in the system, speak up. Now your supervisor might tell you, shut up. Your supervisor might tell you, look, you're right, but it's not worth the effort. This is gonna slow down the production. Sometimes we want these planes to leave the premises as soon as possible. They have a quota to meet. Everything's a quota, 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 quota. Even I have a quota to meet. They always tell me, Pablo, you're so slow. I am I'm very slow in my department. But I believe in the highest levels of quality. I am slow, but damn, nothing gets past me. I have an eye for quality. I am really good at quality. I have a lot of experience. I was working at TARS Engineering for almost 3 years. And then I'm working right here going on 2 months. So, I have an eye for quality. Just how I have an eye for pretty women. I only like beautiful women. I don't like the fat ones. I don't like the ones with a lot of acne. I only like pretty women. That's why I work out, so I can be fit myself, and so I can offer something. Something besides my money. You know, I want to offer a hot body to these babes. So when I sleep with them, they'll be like, "Damn, you have a good body." That's why it's good to work out. I don't want them to just fall in love with me, my brain. I want them to fall in love with me. Be like, "Damn, you're sexy." But anyways, I'm going on multiple tangents. The main takeaway here, bill materials. Remember, bill materials, BOM. So on top of the drawings, which are dimensionals, radiuses, diameters, chamfers, fillets. You also need the amount of quantity of the assemblies, the requirements. It's like pretty cool stuff, dude. It's actually pretty crazy. Whoa. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya, my lord. So yeah, so we have discussed the main aspects of an engineering drawing in 2 dimensions. In two dimensions because it is a flat plane. You cannot have a 3-dimensional drawing because you need to give it depth, and usually it's hard to, unless it's an isometric drawing, it's hard to give it depth. And isometric means that it's the same angles on all 3 planes, which is right, top, and bottom, right, top, and left plane, or one of anyways, like this. So basically the isometric would be right like that, where the origin is pointing directly at the viewer. So yeah, so that's called an isometric view. Look it up. You know, I've been studying SolidWorks since the beginning of the year, since I've been unemployed for a long time. That's why I know a lot about SolidWorks. I'm not like an expert or anything, but I did realize that it's kind of like every mechanical engineer needs SolidWorks. It's like how every plumber needs a plumber's wrench, every electrician needs a voltmeter, every carpenter needs a nail and wood, every uh, lawyer needs a suitcase, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. You get the point. Every locksmith needs, I guess, a locksmith key thingy. Anyways, so this is like your bread and butter. Every chef needs a knife. So it's part of your career, bro. Like as an engineer, you need SolidWorks, 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 SolidWorks. You know, just knowing the theory of these classes is not good enough. You need to really understand the inner workings of SolidWorks, what it is, what it does, what its capabilities are. Even the electrical engineers use SolidWorks because they have to map out what each surge charge is, logic gates, switches. It's like a little stick and like a little circle, and basically those have open and closed conditions. So once this like that is open, when you just like that is closed. Um, so yeah, learn SolidWorks. That's what I'm gonna be doing this weekend. We're gonna study for your CSWA examination. That one has a lot of good stuff. We've been not being as I'm glad I haven't studied SolidWorks. Uh, because I've been focusing more on my job. I gotta pay the bills. I gotta pay my apartment. I gotta pay a lot of debt. Um, and plus, I am able to squeeze in a few hours of sleep time. But what else? What else? Oh, and I have to go to the gym. It is non-negotiable, engineers. We have to go to the gym. This is non-negotiable. I don't care if you're the best engineer on the planet. I don't care if you work for NASA. I don't care if you work for SpaceX. I don't care if you're an MIT engineer. I don't care if you're a Boeing engineer. If you don't hit the gym, if you don't work out, if you don't jog, if you don't ride a bicycle, if you don't lift weights, what the fuck are you doing? You know? You're being a fucking retard. Because true intelligence is not solving differential equations or it's being well rounded. That's what a truly intelligent person is. A truly intelligent person understands that we have to work out and be fit. A truly intelligent person knows the effects of having a sedentary lifestyle that's going to get you to be diabetic and have high blood pressure and possibly have a premature death. That is a truly intelligent person. So I don't regret not studying SolidWorks and going to the gym because I did the right thing according to me. Jesus.